The bonus terror comes with the motherfucker.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with the White Desert, but it is probably one of the coolest parts of Egypt. I found it to be one of the coolest parts of Egypt. And I was fortunate enough to spend the night there. Let's go camping in the White Desert, shall we? Would you like to come with me? Let's do it. Our trip started in a van. Off into the wilderness we went. As we drove off the road into the desert, you know, we're in these 4x4s. Our driver, I don't know if it was a personal thing for him, but he didn't like to be behind anyone. This guy, I kid you not, was doing 60 miles an hour consistently, fishtailing, drifting in the sand, and it was a very harrowing drive. But it was worth it because we pulled into this canyon. And the White Desert is a phenomenally scenic place. It used to be underwater. Once upon a time, it was submerged under the ocean. And as the water receded, I don't know if this has to do with the glaciers, it carved out a massive canyon. And it is truly one of the more beautiful places I've been to. It was so scenic. This is ridiculous. All I can say is it reminded me of like stepping into a time machine into like a Western film. But it was just so supremely scenic. It was breathtaking. After the sunset, we headed to camp. And we arrived, it was basically dark when we arrived. They set up the tents, and I elected to sleep outside under the stars. So they we had a wonderful dinner. They lit a bonfire, and it was a really tranquil moment. It took a while to become silent because unfortunately the bonfire turned into like a half-naked conga line, which like with enough beer and enough Germans, anything can become a half-naked conga line. To continue the story, the next morning we had to wake up very, very early. It turns out my body is not particularly accommodating when it comes to camel hair blankets because I woke up basically my eye was almost swollen shut. So we packed up, we left the White Desert. The desert is such a beautiful place. And I've thought about this a bit. The desert is an intimidating and dangerous place, but it's also very beautiful. It just was such a profound feeling of tranquility. I think that comes from knowing that like you are isolated beyond isolated. And the White Desert was truly one of the more beautiful places I've been. And sleeping under the stars, aside from the swollen eye, was one of the highlights of my trip. So if you're ever in Egypt, I strongly suggest that you book a trip to camp in the White Desert because it is a breathtaking experience. Stay tuned for more adventures to be had. I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye. Got this big hill right there, and I got a feeling he's gonna bomb it.